Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 3 of a best of 5 between Nilla and Gonzo in the grand final of the Season 2 playoffs of the Steel Division League. In this one they are playing on Tsel, and both players have decided to play on the allied side. So on our left, in the red team, we have Nilla using the 15th Infantry Scots and the flatline deployment type. And on our right, in the blue team, we have Gonzo using the 126th Gorno and the flatline deployment type. The division bands for this game, based off the information I have, I think were the 1st Polish, 3rd Guards Tank Corps, 84th Guards Rifles, and 26th Guards Rifles. I'm not sure if that's entirely correct, but that was, I think, both players banned those divisions, which means that both players are sitting on their preferred comfort picks. And that is very interesting to see. Nilla on the 15th, we've seen him prove himself with the 15th before using the 2-star rifles, strong mid-range engagements in towns, and Gonzo with his 126th Gorno, he's played it a lot in 3v3 and 4v4, especially when I've been around on my stream and stuff. But I've yet to see him actually use that in 1v1, and it'll be interesting because it's very different in a 1v1 setting how he gets on with it. But I do have a lot of faith that he's very, very strong with that division. Either way, let's have a look at the units going down on both sides. So we'll start over with Nilla on the top side. So it's going to be a lot of rifles. I don't even want to count how many rifles there are here, but I think that is roughly 10. Sniper at the front with the 6-pounder at the rear. Further down, we see even more rifles. Going to be 5 more squads of rifles, 3 snipers, 3 Humber Mark 4s. And on the bottom side, we see 6 rifles, rifle leader, and the Humber Mark 4s. So very sort of basic deployment so far from Nilla. Going to use those Humber Mark 4s to take out any light vehicles that the Gorno bring. And the rifles are just there to engage the Gorno of Gonzo at sort of mid-range. On the top side, we are going to see a Gorno lead the charge in front of 3 Gorno. Gorno squads aren't fantastic. They're pretty mediocre squads. There's going to be a PTRS 41 there, though. Further down, we see a 45mm AT gun, Morskaya Komroti. That's going to be the leader squad. There's 2 PTRSs in there, which are the 2-man AT rifles. Actually, make that 3. Going to be followed up by 2 Gorno and lots of Morskaya Pohota. These guys are very nice squads indeed. Large sort of line infantry squads. Further down, we see loads of Gorno Sniperi and the DP Grupa following those up, 2-star veterancy as well. On the bottom side is going to be BT7s leading the charge. The Morskaya Komroti already unloading at the front there, having to smoke themselves off, followed up by Gorno Zaperi and lots of Gorno Avtos and the Gorno pushing straight into the town. Now the rifles of the 15th do not have any form of AT, so the BT7s can sit right on top of them, and the Gornos of Gonzo don't have to worry one bit. And they're all unloading right on top of these rifles, surrendering them immediately with the help of the HE shell from the Gornos and the BT7s firing away. Really nice aggressive push here so far from Gonzo. Nilla having to bring down all these Humber Mark 4s to combat the BT7s. Also the Churchill 4 now moving up the road as well. This is going to be really difficult for the BT7s to deal with. Has really nice rate of fire, the Churchill. And some decent penetration there as well with 55% accuracy. So really, really nice for dealing with enemy armor at close range. These rifles, though, they're taking a beating, and the Gorno Avto is using smoke to get nice and close. Good use of the smoke so far from Gonzo. That squad maybe not so much. But these 3 squads pinned down. Now this Gorno is on top of the rifle leader. That's going to have to do a runner, because otherwise that's going to lead to these rifles surrendering very quickly indeed. The Gorno Sniperi taking care of a unit of rifles further up. And elsewhere on the map, it looks like things are relatively slow so far. Just Nilla moving forwards his rifles slowly indeed. Now the Humber Mark 4s, they do have their fast firing, well, relatively fast firing 7 round per minute AT gun. And the BT7s, they're coming in with their 10 round per minute rate of fire at close range, looking to clean things up. Going to trade 1 for 1. Can they get the last one there? Yep, Gonzo's going to get the job done. BT7 down the road gets taken out by the Churchill 4. Those Gornos ripped up by the rifle leader and rifles there. The submachine guns not quite doing the job. In the center, Moskaya Porta engaging these rifles. These guys have Mozins and 2 machine guns. So they have the machine gun advantage here for sure. And also these rifles are engaging from the open against units in heavy cover. So that's a big difference there that we've got to pay attention to. But looks like Nilla's starting to get back the upper hand on the bottom side. Gonzo's Gonostraukis are severely outnumbered right now. And the BT7s having trouble getting into position. Really nice snipe down the road there from Nilla, taking out a reinforcing unit of infantry. More Gorno Avtos on the way to back this up, along with a new leader unit. Do you see the Hurricane coming in? That does have AT rockets. Going in for the shot onto the Churchill 4. It's not going to find the kill, but certainly weakened that armor. Next time around, it might just get the kill. DP Grupa moving in to secure this flag. Currently 13 to 11 for Nilla. Has managed to secure himself a serious amount of ground throughout the map so far. Now generally, because this is a close range engagement map with all of these forests, you'd expect the Gornos to get the better of the rifles in the long run. But so far, Nilla's abundance of rifles has really done him a lot of favors. He's been able to just get the better of Gonzo's infantry. Now he's dropping off map with the 203mm back here onto this area just as these infantry come in. That's going to do a lot of damage. Unless he cancelled it. Nope, there it is. Going to kill the leader squad immediately. Going to start pinning down these Gorno Avtos, allow his rifles to advance onto these close range infantry squads. Now if you're ever wondering how you can deal with really strong close range infantry when you don't have much yourself, artillery is the way to go about it. And that's what we're going to see there. Oh, the rifle leader managing to use its Piats to take out 2 BT7s. Really, really nice job there. Meanwhile, on the top side, the rifles here getting the better of the Gornos that are defending on the top side. Not much left here at all for Gonzo. Might end up losing 2 flags to the rifle squads. That would be really, really bad news. Also going to lose his footing on this bottom side, especially if Nilla gets aggressive after that off-map finishes falling down. Meanwhile, these rifles are still advancing through the trees there. And they will outnumber and probably kill off the Gorno Avtos because they have that 2-star veterancy. 3 Gonostrauki are moving in. And the DP Grupa were taken care of here by the rifles. Now the Gonostrauki going to have to fill the void. Gonzo currently just riding around with these BT7s to try and gain some land. Currently going to cut off the rifles just to get rid of the land that they are controlling. All of this infantry of Gonzo's is still pinned down, now surrounded. One nice thing about Gonostrauki infantry is they do have the raider trait, which means they don't suffer penalties from being behind enemy lines like they are now. But I think Nilla might just end up ignoring those troops and carrying on at this rate. Gonostrauki, Avtos, having a go. Gonostrauki, they do have 6 submachine guns, so they're not the worst squads at close range, but they don't. The thing is about a Gonostrauki squad is they are not very specialized at all. And that's what generally makes them suffer in the long run. Like, they'll lose to rifles at range. Moskaya Porta, though, definitely a lot better, chewing up the infantry on the top side here, supported by a couple of BT7s. So far, I think Gonzo's done well to support his troops with these BT7s. Or Hurricane coming in. Going for the rocket strike onto the Churchill 4. Weakens that a little. Not going to get the kill. Very, very unlikely that these Hurricane Mark IIs are going to kill anything with their first strike. Generally, you'd need 1 or 2. In order, well, 2 generally to get the job done. 6-pounder. Going to be rushed down here by Gonzo. Honestly, I think Gonzo is just trying to speed up the road to get out of line of sight of that as soon as possible and make that continue to have to turn around. So you can see he's just driving right up next to it. That's forcing the AT gun to turn. Takes time to set up. Has plenty of time to kill it off. Nicely done. Rushing it down. Definitely the best choice in that situation. So the Gornos on the bottom side were killed off by the rifles. Now these rifles trying to push on to the Gorno Sniperi. But the 2-star sniper squads can be really, really tough to kill. Any 2-man squad or 2-star squad can be really difficult to get rid of. And all the while it's still going to continue to do damage to these rifles. But the machine gun of the Churchill 4 helps get the job done. Gorno Avtos moving into position. Then it's coming in with more off-map on this bottom side. Not really going to hit too much with that. But maybe just looking to cut off future reinforcements. One of the rifles did get a bit too big for its boots. And, well, they get surrendered. The other squad might end up dying to the DP Gruppe. Meanwhile, the Gorno Avtos still moving into position, just trying to get the better of the rifles nearby. Take down one so far. BT7 now moving up, potentially trying to engage the Churchill 4, but needs to be really careful. Gonzo microing these all over the place. 45mm looking for the side shot in for the time being. Whilst the BT7 sort of causes a distraction there. Might be able to find it. Oh, bounces off the side armor. Not very thick side armor for these Churchills. 70mm. I guess it is enough for the AP shell, really, of the 45mm. Not going to be a massive amount of penetration there. BT7 in the meantime just cutting down more rifles. Look at these Gorno Avtos though. Nilla's got to be really careful that he doesn't lose his numbers advantage. Because if he does, 1 for 1, like the Gorno Avtos are going to kill off the rifle squad. So an engagement like this is where the Gorno Avtos will win. And then that's where Nilla can, well, things can start going downhill for Nilla. You see the Hurricane coming in, that's going to be the second rocket strike onto that tank. And therefore goes down this time around. Tanks in Steel Division 2 do have health. So if they do get hit a lot by AP over time, they will die. And that's why you can see sometimes tanks go down to mortar shells and so on. Because they do have that health stat. It's just not really shown. Gorno Sniperi trying to get the better of the rifles here. The rifle is going to have to do a runner. Sniper relentless though, chasing them down. This map, look how like ugly that front line is right now. It's all over the place. Both players just pushing the salients where they can. As you can see, Gonzo pushed it on the hill, getting the better of the rifles that he engaged in the open. On the top side, things have been going backwards and forwards. The Moskaya Pohota now being pushed back again because the Crocodile has arrived and cleaned up the BT7s. But yeah, the tanks really causing issues at the moment for Gonzo. Very, very difficult for Gonzo to find a way to crack down on these high armored targets. Oh, here comes that off maps. Hitting hard, actually. Going to force the unload from Gonzo early on. Has moved into phase B now. Has his card of Moskaya Avtos available. Now, these are 12-man squads with Thompson submachine guns. They are very, very brutal at close combat. They will shred rifles. So now that Gonzo has these on the field, he can do a lot of damage to Nilla's infantry, especially if he's going up against these squads one by one, which so far it looks like he is. Gorno Stalky here. Looks like they've managed to sneak up, kill off the Crocodile. They're now going for the grenade onto the Churchill 4. The Churchill 4 probably won't be able to react in time. There it goes. Goodbye, Churchill 4. Really good job by Gonzo to just take advantage of Nilla. Maybe not paying attention there so much. But look at these Moskaya Avtos and Gornos. Oh, just the rifle's gone immediately there. Manages to reconnect the front line with the Gorno Avto there. Now the salient going back in the favour of Gonzo on the bottom side. Top side though, things still falling apart. Infantry being taken out one by one. Crocodile still moving up. Churchill 4 now on the hill. M3S. Looks like that's actually firing down at the moment. Yeah, towards the Crocodile. Not going to be getting that kill anytime soon with 150mm of frontal armor on that Crocodile. Here comes the Hurricane. Looks like Gonzo's going to try and soften this Crocodile up. If he's lucky, he might get a kill. Nope, not this time around. Probably didn't do too much damage either. Another Hurricane coming in as well. That might get the job done. It won't do this time. Those Hurricanes can be very hit and miss, but look at this. The Mosquera here, just going to finish off that rifle squad. And now the bottom side has completely fallen in favor of Gonzo. He's managed to find the 6-pounder here. Going to take that out as well. That's a lovely kill for him to pick up. Although, I guess for Gonzo, he doesn't need to worry too much about AT because he's not going to be using too many tanks. He does have the M3Ss, but most of the BT7s are probably dead now, if not all of them. And therefore, this is pretty much all of the armoured support he's going to be relying on for the near future. Gorno having a go at the rifles. One of them was on return fire. He's going to allow that to get involved, but best bet, yeah, he's going to pull them back and then draw the rifles into the 100-meter range engagement, and then what he can do is do plenty of damage with the PPSH or the Thompsons. So the Thompsons in this case, they're just going to slaughter these rifles. Just look at them just be absolutely ripped to shreds on that bottom side. The Mosquera are actually taking quite a bit of damage because they are in the open and running. The rifles are going to kill those off. But yeah, if they can maintain the 100-meter range, Mosquera there is no equal really. Another Hurricane coming in. Not going to get the kill again. That Crocodile proving hard to kill for sure. Nilla sitting on the 15-9 has a very nice lead at the moment. His rifles sitting in nice positions, but needs to be careful that they don't get picked off. As I said, 1-for-1, things could go very badly. Or the commander is actually being found by the rifle squad here. But it looks like the commander's actually going to survive. Wow. That's kind of lucky for Gonzo there. Considering he does have the PPS-43, it's not unlikely that the 3 submachine guns will win against a weakened squad, but there was a great chance there that Nilla could have killed Gonzo's commander. Anyway, Mosquera coming in on the bottom side. Mosquera right up in the face of the rifles. These 13-man squads, they just have submachine guns and Mozins. Just sheerly outnumbering his opponent now on the bottom side. Nilla gonna be coming in to try and reinforce this. But Gonzo is in a very nice position in these buildings. Might be able to tear apart those rifle squads, especially with the veterancy from the Gorno Comrotti. This Gorno, though, not going to be able to connect to the commander anytime soon, not unless Gonzo creates a very wide network for that. Looks like the Hurricane finally managed to kill the Crocodile on the top side. Churchill 5 now engaging lots of infantry, though. These Mosqueras not being able to do much about that. They can smoke themselves off and try and make some ground, but ultimately the Churchill 5 is going to be quite difficult for those infantry squads to take out. So, looks like he's probably going to have to rely on the Mosquera there with its 300mm AT grenade. These infantry now moving up, trying to challenge the rifles, and Nilla moves forwards. So Gonzo here, he's used his smoke to force the rifles forwards, and now they're coming into range of all those submachine guns. They're going to take a lot of damage very quickly. They're not in cover. Down they go, although one of those Mosqueras was freely running forwards. That's a big loss. The Gorno Comrotti going to be taken out. The Gorno's on the bottom side still alive, so there's still veterancy here. More rifles pushing in. You can see Nilla just trying to get the numbers advantage. Bit of a engagement going on in the middle of the map here between Spitfire and the Kitty Hawk. Hurricanes in the meantime taking out the Churchill 5 on the top side. Two Kitty Hawks going for each other. Spitfire doing loops. Neither probably going to get the better of each other in the end. It really does depend. It'll probably come down to some head-ons like this. The Spitfire getting some serious damage in there. But these infantry on the bottom side, not long until they're cleaned up by the abundance of rifles that Nilla has. And that's one thing that is really, really good about the 15th Infantry, is they have a ton of those rifles available. Spitfire does take out one of the Kitty Hawks. Has taken damage in the process. Now Gonzo forced to buy in another one. Looking to finish off the damaged Spitfire. Nilla, probably be best if he just tells that to leave the battlefield at this point. It will probably be able to get away just because of how quick it is. Maybe doesn't want to leave his last one to the fate of the Kitty Hawks. Moskaya taking damage from the rifles at range. Things have slowed down quite a bit. Spitfire is going to go down. It's just infantry engagements now. Gonzo making great use of the Hurricanes, the AT Hurricanes, to basically stay in this game. Because with that armor on the field, Gonzo's having a really hard time. But Nilla, what he needs to do is invest in AA, and just as I'm about to say that, we see the two CMP Polstons coming in, and these are going to be vital for protecting his future armor to allow him to maintain the advantage that he had before. Now, for a little while, this Gorno was capturing 3 points, which was keeping things at 12 to 12, so Gonzo preserving some tickets at least. But Nilla really is getting the better of Gonzo right now, holding the 14 to 10, loads more tickets in Nilla's favor, sitting on a lot of flags here. These rifles, though, they are being picked off on the top side. Gonzo now starting to take control here, whilst losing control on the bottom, and it's just like a seesaw. Both players attacking, then reacting to each other's pushes, and it's just going backwards and forwards, top and bottom side of the map, middle of the map. At one point, of course, Gonzo did control this center hill almost entirely. Now it's gone completely in the favor of Nilla. But we see Gonzo coming in with the Morskaya Ravtos again. Oh, one of them going to go down before it unloads. That is not good for Gonzo. Of course, he does want to get to the 100-meter range if he can, but that doesn't necessarily mean he should be sacrificing his infantry to do so. That rocket strike from the Hurricane, nicely done, weakens the Churchill 5 there. The MP Polstons on their way to try and help out. I'm not a huge fan of these, because they only have one Polston on the back there. I'm very much a fan of the Tri-Polstons and the Bofors. I think those can both be very effective at preventing airstrikes, whereas a CMP Polston, because they are relatively weak in comparison, they don't necessarily stop an aircraft before they strike. So in this case, Gonzo can come in with a rocket Hurricane and hit the Churchill, and then it will be forced back by the AA behind. Whereas if you had something like a Bofors with extra range, also more sort of suppressing damage, the Hurricane might not even get the strike off, or if it does, it will be very inaccurate. Now the Gorno here going to be overwhelmed by the rifles at close range. On the bottom side, Morskaya Ravtos just holding strong. Is this 245mm on the bottom side, ready to receive any Churchills. Looks like these Morskayas did manage to get the better of the rifles of Nilla. This commander is in a bit of a bad spot at the moment. Right, Nilla actually moving very, very far forwards with the CMP Polstons. Looks like he's going to try and use these as infantry support. He can do a lot of damage to infantry there. You can see the Morskaya Pehota go down from 13 men to 5 in 2 seconds. Hurricane coming in, does manage to get the rocket strike just as I mentioned. Now the Kitty Hawk's going to take down the Spitfire. This Hurricane drops a couple of rockets onto the rifles there. That was cheeky. Might end up going down though if it stays too close to these Polstons. So yeah, the suppression damage of the Polstons not really enough to prevent the initial strike, which is what I was talking about. Gorno though, Still pushing through here. Moscaravto's starting to gain more ground. And the amount of rifles that Nilla has been putting out has started to wane a little bit into the mid-game here. We're currently 22 minutes and 48 seconds into the game, so we've moved into Phase C. Doesn't make a difference in terms of income because they're both playing flatline, of course. But it might sort of show how both of the players make their compositions in their decks. Because I feel like Nilla heavily stacks his Phase A and B, even in this flatline. Whereas I think Gonzo tends to do like 2 Phase C infantry cards and a lot more for Phase C in his flatline, which might allow him to get the better of Nilla in a longer game. And so far, as I mentioned, there's not as many rifles on the field as there were, and that's meaning that Gonzo's infantry is starting to get a lot more value, because one-on-one, Gonzo's infantry is going to win pretty much all the time. Maybe not a Gorno Starkey versus a rifle, but most of the other squads like Moskaya Rabtos or the Moskaya Pehota, those kinds of squads will be able to do so. We are going to see an abundance of M3Ss now arriving. Looks like Gonzo had a card of these in Phase C. Going to be using them to solidify his front line. And I guess we'll just try and take care of any Churchills in his way. Using the Hurricanes in the meantime, because the M3S is obviously not really going to be able to deal with the Churchill too well. Triple Polston here now, so technically a tri-Polston, but obviously individual units. They will be able to protect that armor quite well, but I'm a little concerned about just infantry presence in general from Nilla right now. He's very, very late to be bringing these rifles onto the field, especially considering Gonzo's ground that he's taken here so far. And this is allowing Gonzo to get his infantry into very advantageous positions, which is going to make it difficult for the rifles to push back. If he reinforced the rifles sooner, then Nilla would have maintained his defensive positions closer to the flags and things wouldn't be so equal. But Nilla certainly in the driving seat in terms of tickets, just needs to really seal the deal now. The CMP Polston here gonna get taken out by the SVTs of the Gorno Conrotti. That is one definite weakness of these trucks, is they have no armor, so light arms fire can kill them. M3S, they're gonna be able to get out of the way. Hurricane coming in for the rocket strike. Doesn't manage to get the job done, but did pin down both of the Polstons, which is going to allow the bomber and the fighter to get out just fine. The bomber actually took out one of the Polstons that was strafed. Very smart move there. M3S is going to kill off I think that was just one, maybe, rifle squad on the bottom side there before it unloaded. But with both of those dealt with for the time being, double Hurricane strike coming in. Not going to get the job done, but that's actually going to be a surrender from Nilla. 25 minutes, 59 seconds, and I think what happened here was exactly as I was explaining. It's deck composition. Gonzo built his flat lines so that they can go strong into Phase C, whereas I don't think Nilla does. So for me personally, I feel like Nilla should be playing Vanguard just because of that kind of deck composition. Whereas, obviously, Gonzo's sort of catered his decks for the longer game. In this case, you can see that he did manage to get a decent amount of value out of his units. 3,175 kills to 2,055 losses. But what does this mean? It means Gonzo takes the victory and he is the winner of the Season 2 playoffs. He is the victor #1 of the Steel Division League for Season 2. Congratulations to Gonzo, takes home a cash prize. Nilla does as well. I think there was a cash prize for second as well. So nicely done to both of them. Honestly, commiserations to Nilla. I think he played really, really well in the playoffs. I really, really enjoyed his aggressive play, but I think against Gonzo, it's kind of like a clash of those play styles. Both players are very aggressive, and you can see it by the way that the front line is shifting constantly throughout all of the games that we've seen between these two. And they're pushing their salients, trying to find ground, grasping here and there. But ultimately, because Gonzo has the flatline and he plays a little bit more for the late game, it does do him a lot of favors. And therefore, Nilla has basically been giving up the games because he knows that if it goes any longer, he's not going to have a leg to stand on. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these kills. Rifles, snipers, doing okay there. The Churchills really didn't do as well as they should have done, in my opinion, in this game. They got picked apart by the Hurricanes, and I can't help but feel like Nilla chose the wrong AA for this kind of engagement. Like, the Hurricanes, they're not the strongest aircraft. They can be taken down quite easily. With like a couple Bofors would get the job done. 2-star veterancy, basically would shut down all of Gonzo's airplay. But he relied on those Polstons, and they don't quite pin enough to stop the Hurricanes from doing their job before they're forced to fall back. And that is a big issue. Rifles, they're great in numbers, but as soon as Nilla started to let them dwindle, Gonzo just sweeps them up. It's like a Hoover with all of those infantry. The Gornos just going through them like a knife through butter. It's ridiculous. Really strong. Anyway, Gorno snip early. Look at that. Cleaning up their rifles all day long. Lots of one-to-one trades, but these Gorno Strelki are actually doing a lot better than I expected, that's for sure. Gorno Avtos, nice close-range squads, going to get some damage in there. Moskaya Pohota also decent longer range squads, great mid-range squads, get a lot of value versus things like rifles. That'd probably be from the engagement in the middle of the map. But yeah, Moskaya Avtos, those are the ones that are just going to rip through things at close range, and playing around those is very difficult if you're relying on rifles. So when you see a Moskaya Avto like this gain, what is that, 6 rifle kills, it's kind of ridiculous, and that's going to really affect the overall availability that Nilla's going to have throughout the game. And the only way you're going to really get the better of the Moskaya Avtos is by pinning them down with Arty, as I said. So we saw the off-map try to be used by Nilla. Wasn't the most effective. The first strike certainly was, but afterwards maybe not so much. And he didn't have anything to provide persistent pinning. So no 25-pounder or mortars or anything like that would have been crucial to really pin down a Moskaya Avto before it started firing, basically. So yeah, interesting game for sure. And yeah, just commiserations to Nilla. Fantastic job by Gonzo. Takes the final 3-0. Absolutely stellar job. So there we go. That's it. Gonzo crowned victor of Season 2 of the Steel Division League. If you guys are interested in Season 3, make sure to check the links in the description for more information. There might be a couple of spaces left to sign up if you want to get involved, but I heard from Protosoccer it's pretty much jam-packed full at this point. But I'll make sure to leave the information there regardless. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed these commentaries, these tournament commentaries. I really do enjoy doing them. They really get my heart pumping when it's a really exciting game. And yeah, really big thanks to the players, of course, for playing in the tournaments to begin with, because it's awesome to watch them. And also, of course, a massive thank you to the Steel Division League team, because the work they do and the way they brought the community together in these competitive tournaments is just awesome. So yeah, great job by Protosoccer and the team to do all of that. But that's it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.